All right, so today we decided to dig up our potatoes. If there's one vegetable we love to eat, it's potatoes. Welcome to Crossright Homestead. I'm Mary Miller.
I'm Steve. Thanks for tuning in this week, and for this episode we're going to start out by digging up these potatoes. As you can see in the back here, we let the weeds get overgrown here in the potato patch, so we learned our lesson. We planted them too close together. We couldn't till between them. We didn't get out here and weed quite enough, so now we got a mess trying to get the weeds pulled before we can even harvest the potatoes. If you remember back when we started this spring, we were tilling all this up. So take a look at this grass. You couldn't have seeded a better patch of grass than that. And what that is we used cow manure to fertilize this whole thing. Well, in cow manure there's a lot of grass seed, and when we threw the manure on here, obviously we're throwing grass seed on here as well, and that's where all this grass came from. So when you do use natural fertilizer like cow manure, think about that there will be grass seeds and all the stuff that they eat in the fertilizer. So be cautious of that when you go to plant something. Let's get these weeds pulled so we can see where the rows of potatoes are. When weeding the garden, we don't even waste those. Rosie and Boaz are eating on them. Okay, so these potatoes have been in. We planted them on Good Friday, so they've been in 120 days today. So we're going to go ahead and dig them up because, as you've seen in the video, the tops are dried. The potatoes are what they're going to be because they're just dried up, and we're getting ready for a couple days of rain, and we don't want them to start to rot in the ground. So we're going to go ahead and dig them up. We may have potatoes, we may have just dirt, I don't know. But we're going to find out. Hopefully we have some potatoes. We've never done this before. Mary's dad, he used to plant potatoes. He's passed away. My dad used to plant potatoes and he's passed away, but we've never done it ourselves. So this is our first time. So if it doesn't turn out very well, guess we're gonna have to watch more YouTube videos and figure out how to do it the right way. So let's see what we got. As you can see, we do have the rows are there. Most of these plants are really dried up right now. There's a couple that are still got some green in them. Here's what our rows look like. Very dead plants. A couple of them that are still got some green in them, but looks like for the most part they're dried up, ready to be harvested. We don't want to leave them in the ground too long. So one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to leave too many of them in the ground right now because we're calling for rain and we don't want them to start to rot. So that's why we're trying to get these out of here before the rain comes. We got 2 days of rain coming, so I'm gonna try and get those out.
All right, so these potatoes, you're supposed to wait till the stems of them die off, and they're as dead as they're going to get. We're going to pull them up and see what we got in here. Well, that's a bad sign.
This ground is hard.
Oh, yep, I see one.
So let's see what we got. So we do have a couple potatoes that popped right up out of the ground.
Show us.
They're not very big. We haven't had a lot of water.
Little reds.
They were little red potatoes when we planted them. So we knew they weren't going to get really big, but a little smaller than what we'd like, but they're going to be tasty. Here's how they grow.
Definitely didn't plant it in fertile soil.
Well, they didn't get enough water. We had a lot of manure on here.
Oh, true.
So, obviously this is one of those jobs where you're going to get your hands dirty. So, when you do potatoes, on a large scale, you're going to have machinery to get out there and dig that with tractors and things. But when you just plant them in your own garden, you might as well plan on getting dirty. And some people plant their potatoes in buckets or boxes, and then you would just simply turn that bucket or box over and harvest your potatoes. That'd be an easy way to do it also. But we're going to do it this way. This isn't the potato harvest that we really wanted. This is pretty sad, but we're not going to waste them. We're going to go ahead and harvest these, and we're going to eat these potatoes because they're little red, tasty potatoes. So we're going to continue to harvest these. You hurt yourself there, Sleep. Maybe the biggest potato is still on the green one. There's a little decent potato. As you can see, we just didn't get enough water in this area to do a good harvest of potatoes, and we didn't water them enough, so that's on us. But that's part of learning how to homestead. If we were pulling up big, huge potatoes out of here, you'd be like, oh, they cut that out and they made it look better than it was. But sometimes things just don't work out like you want them to, and this is one of those cases. But we still got food to eat. And we will put food on the table with this project. That one really didn't do anything.
Wasn't dug deep enough maybe, or no? They kind of grew in that mound.
Yeah, the potato doesn't dig down into the ground, it grows on top of the ground.
Because I remember when we put them in, it was like we put in some cut up pieces of potatoes.
Somebody cut one.
When I was jumping. Oops.
Just got to be, that's one reason when you're digging them, you got to be careful that you go out far enough and you don't cut at a sharp angle. You go deep so that you can pull it up and you don't slice your potato in half. But we're still learning. That's why we have one chopped in half. That's better. So remember, we planted one section of a potato, and if this would have had more water, we would have had, there's 4 potatoes on there now, but we could have had really good turnout if we'd have had more water. Bitty short row. I believe those were like white, like Idaho potatoes. So we're going to dig those up and see if they turned out any different than these. Oh, this one's still red.
Okay.
Oh, cut one. Cut another one. Here's a white potato.
Okay, that's our first white one.
Yep. They're about the same size, but they are white or yellow.
I may not have stayed in line pretty good when I planted them in a row. That's it.
So here's what we ended up with.
All right, so today we decided to dig up our potatoes, and we didn't do too bad. We got a bag of potatoes out of it. It was worth it. It was a good experience.
Right.
We had a lot of dry weather this summer, so we're surprised anything turned out. And this was our first year planting out here in this garden, so.
You may say, well, I could go to Walmart and buy a bag of potatoes on sale and do it cheaper than that. Well, you might, and it's just like the chicken eggs. You know, you can buy them cheap at the store, but here these are fresh. You know where they came from, and they're good eating. And same thing with the eggs. So when you're homesteading, it's not always the cheapest way, but in the long run, it can be if you learn how to do things the right way. And right now, we're in that transition where we're trying to grow and understand it. So we hope in the long term we learn how to do these things where we can be much more profitable and get more harvest off of our efforts. But that's part of the learning curve. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So, but we're learning as we go. So.
And if there's one vegetable we love to eat, it's potatoes.
Yep, these are going to go very well with the beef we're about ready to put in the freezer. So we got a few other things we need to do today. We got to work with Boaz a little bit. We'll get some video of that. Mary bought a new rope, so she wants to try and see if she can learn to rope. With having this new calf that we're dealing with, he's got her thinking she can rope him and catch him a little easier. So we may get some video of that. We're not very good at that because we've never roped before, but as you've seen in a previous video, a friend of ours tried to teach Mary how to rope, so maybe we can get a good laugh out of that here in a little bit. We need to loosen it a little?
Not yet, but in about another week, yeah. I mean, he's growing fast. I have it all the way cinched up.
One around his neck, is it okay? Looks kind of tight. But
he'll need me to loosen it, definitely. I mean, I could loosen it one hole. Chicken's laying an egg. He's starting to eat grain and hay. Won't be too long and he'll be ready to be going to somebody else's house to live. So if any of our viewers out there are interested in buying a baby calf, they'll have to get a hold of us. Doggone flies. Yeah, I'm not gonna hurt you, boy. I want to get those flies off of him. That's a good boy. Hi, Rosie. Coming over to check on your little bull.
when it comes to dealing with these large animals, you just gotta, the more you work with them, the better they're gonna be. It takes a lot of work.
I think he does better with you.
Well, you gotta be calm with it. Should have done it when he wasn't pulling so hard. Now, if you'll remember in an earlier video, we did have some footage of Mary learning how to rope. So we're gonna see if that carries out to today.
So I ordered this cow head to teach me how to rope. You never know when you need to learn a new skill.
Well, most normal people would probably mount this in a bale of hay, but we have it on a tree, so we'll see how that works.
We went to our local Rural King and we got a rope. And it looked like this when I bought this one. But then I took this and I didn't know what I was doing with it and I got it all out of whack. So I'm gonna see if I can rope with it or if I'm gonna have to take it to somebody and see what I can get done with it.
All right. The cow does not look scared, like you're even gonna get close, but let's see what you can do.
He's testing me. That was terrible.
It was close.
No, it was terrible.
You scared him.
I need to make my Hondo a little bigger.
Not as close as last time.
I know, I got it. Left to right. Am I going right to left? Del Brisby says go from left to right.
No, he doesn't. That was terrible. Why did you backhand throw a lasso?
I don't know.
That is
How
not.
do you go left to right?
You don't go left to right. You go right to left. As your arm is spinning right to left.
Hey, I got on one of his horns.
Almost.
But I'm only 5 feet away. I should be getting the whole thing.
And you're not on a horse.
True.
What are you doing?
My arm's wearing out.
Come on.
All right, this is it. This is gonna be
Okay, this is the one.
I don't know. You want to try?
Wait till your trainer sees how you're throwing this rope. He is not going to be happy when this video hits the air.
I know.
He's going to comment like crazy.
Darn it. If you guys have any comments on how I should work this rope a little better, let me know. I think I've got the swing down. At least the swing. Hey, I got him. I got to get him around both ears.
Horns?
Horns. One more. Then we'll get a video of you doing it.
Well, I thought we were going to get you doing it successfully, but...
Nope.
Well, not yet.
It's going to happen.
Okay, you can do it. This is the time.
All right, made my Hondo bigger. Oh, dang it.
You mean you made the loop bigger?
The loop bigger. Yeah, I made the loop bigger.
Okay.
Dang it. All right, I give up. Let's see how you do it.
I don't know that I can even do it. That's the advice I need. Well, this is my first throw, so I've never touched this rope before, and I've never roped before, so I know this is going to be pitiful, but we'll see what happens. Might give you a good laugh. Well, that didn't work. This tree might not be the best idea.
Might be better to get a bale of hay so we can get it behind it.
But I still should be able to do this. Can't do that bad. Got him. Throw number 2, we got him. Now if that had been a bull, we'd have never caught him because he'd have been flipping around. It's not going to hold still like that. But
You mean like a tree would?
like a tree, something nailed to a tree.
We better get back over and check on baby Boaz.
So, as many of you know, we will be selling little Boaz here. He is registered with the Texas Longhorn Breeders Association. So let's check on the Angus cows. They're doing pretty good. They got big bellies, a lot of food and water, so they look really good. Still not the tamest things in the world, but she'll let you touch her, but she's not a big fan of it, are you? No, you're all right. So they're doing well. So on this episode, you've seen Mary got the roping out, so we got to do a little bit of that. We got to harvest the potatoes. She worked with Boaz a little bit. He's getting to be a little handful. So on these things on the homestead, we may not be the best at potato growing or working with the animals or whatever we do, but you know, we work at it and we do the best we can, and that's why we're always looking for comments from you folks to help us get better. And we hope that some of the things we tell you and show you are something new to you that you can put into your life. And that's what it's all about, is working, loving each other as neighbors and sharing things as friends to help each other out. So we hope you like this video, hope you like and subscribe, and we just pray you have a blessed day.